Okay, hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about how to ship a small train layout. So a while back I had a comment asking how I actually ship small train layouts, and so I wanted to go through the process today about how I actually do that. And this again is the small layout which I built back in December 2016, and I'm going to kind of go through the overall process of how I pack this up and ship it. And so the main thing when you're trying to protect a small layout when you ship it is not just putting a bunch of foam around it, but really to prevent it from moving at all inside the container, since that side-to-side motion or up and down motion is what can destroy details that you put on the layout or structures or whatever. In this case, this layout is pretty simple. It's just a bunch of trees. There's not going to be a whole lot of damage, most likely, if it moved around some, but nonetheless, I'm going to pack it as I would if it did have a lot more detail to it and so forth. And so the basic idea is that how this works is that I take this layout, I pack it inside of a box in which I screw the box to the bottom of the layout. And so the layout is actually attached to the box itself. And then I have padding and packaging material around the layout. In this case, I'll actually put this inside of a bag first and then screw it to the box, and then pack some packing material around it to help protect anything in case anything shifts around. And also I'm going to have these the train cars and the locomotive packed in there as well, so I want to make sure everything kind of stays put. And then I will take that box that has been packed up with the layout, again the layout screwed to the box so it can't move, and then put that box inside of another box which will have packing material around it. And that's really what provides the protection from the actual shipping process. And so if something smashes into the container, the box, and pokes through it or whatever, it's going to have a layer of insulation there, and it's going to have that double protection of having the two boxes. And so if something gets through the first box, it's not going to actually probably go through the second box unless it's a really severe accident. And so it does provide a lot of protection, and it's fairly easy to do. So we'll go through the process now. So again, it's a pretty straightforward process. Again, this box that the layout's actually sitting on is going to be the outer box. This smaller box here will be the inner box that the layout is going to actually be inside of. And then I usually use 3 screws to attach the layout to the box. So for each of these screws, you'll need to have a washer on there so it can't actually pull through the box. And I'm also going to put a scrap of wood, this random small scrap of wood, in there as well. So basically I'm going to have a scenario where I have the screw going through the, with a washer on it, going through the wood, and then this will be up against the bottom of the box, and that's going to absolutely make sure that the screw is not going to pull through the box, because that's what you don't want to have happen if it's sitting upside down for a long period of time inside of a truck that's bouncing around. You don't want the layout to actually physically get ripped, pull off that inner box and then start crashing around inside the box, because that's going to obviously destroy it. And so I want to make sure that these screws are not going to pull through. And I'm using long enough screws so it's going to bite in there pretty good. The base is about 1 inch thick. And so this screw won't go all the way through that, but it'll go through about 3/4 of the way. And so that'll provide a pretty good amount of security. Now between the inner box and the outer box on the bottom, I usually just use a layer of this scrap foam that provides that insulation there. And then between the inner box and outer box elsewhere, I just pack whatever I have. It might be scraps of foam, it might be packing peanuts, just whatever I have available at the time. So that's pretty much the process. So we'll go through, pack this up, and I'll kind of go through the step-by-step process of how I actually pack everything up here. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing here is initially put this layout into a couple bags just to help protect it from dust and packing material and everything else. And so, okay, so I'm going to start off putting a bag on the top of it and then put another one up from the bottom and wrap it into bags to help protect it. And that'll keep all the dirt and packing material off of the layout itself. And I can pack stuff around it to help keep things in place, and it won't get stuck in the branches and everything else. Now I need to prepare the inner box and get that folded up. Okay, so here's the layout inside the box looking down, and there's some space around it. And so what I've already done is cut some foam to fit around the base and the perimeter, which will help keep the layout from shifting around a little bit while, really mostly while I'm in this packing process. Again, I'll have it screwed to the bottom of the box, and so that'll help keep things in place for the long term. But in the near term, I want to keep everything kind of centered and also have a space to pack, you know, the actual locomotive and train cars and other things. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get that put in. Okay, so here's the foam that I cut to fit inside the box. The layout will fit in the hole in the center. And I just basically put the layout on top of the foam, traced it, cut it out. The smaller square holes here, rectangular holes here, are for where I'll actually pack the engine, and the train cars will fit in those slots. And then I'll have packing material on top there to help keep things in place, but that'll help, again, keep things from shifting around too much inside this interior box. Now I have not glued these foam pieces in yet, so I'm waiting for my hot glue gun to heat up, and then I'm going to tack those down so they stay in place, and then continue with the packing process. Okay, so now the foam is glued to the bottom, and I can replace the layout inside the box. Okay, so you can see there where I have the locomotive and the two train cars inside the foam. The layout's in the middle there in the bag, which also makes it a good, easy way to pull it out after it's been unscrewed. And then I'm going to go ahead and pack some bags of foam peanuts in the corners to, again, kind of just help keep everything more or less in place. Aha, but before I pack it up, I do need to enclose the extra batteries and the instructions. That would be helpful. Okay, so now we'll go ahead with the process of getting everything ready to be screwed to the box. And I'm going to start off by drilling 3 pilot holes just to make sure nothing gets, split in there too badly. And also through the little wood scraps that I'll be using to help secure it. Okay, so now I'm simply going to take, again, one of the screws, one of the washers, one of the scraps of wood. Actually, I'll get all these set up first. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and attach each of these to the layout base. Okay, so you can see everything is screwed securely with 3 screws. That'll keep everything from moving. It's going to be really secure inside that inner box. And so now I can go ahead and worry about getting the inner box, or the outer box, prepped for the inner box to fit inside of it. Okay, so the small inner box was 20 by 20 by 20 inches. And the outer box is 24 by 24 by 24. So they will, of course, easily fit inside of each other. Again, with some room for additional packing material to keep everything nice and secure. And I also have a couple little instruction sheets there about telling you to remove the screws from the inner box before you try to just, pull it out. So I'll go ahead and tape those on there as well. For this box, since I don't have quite as much clearance with the top, but the inner box has a little bit of a hump in it. And so I want to make sure there's not going to be any contact with the top of the outer box. And so I'm just going to use a couple layers of cardboard for extra padding on the bottom instead of a layer of the foam board. Okay, that still leaves me a good inch of clearance between the inner box and the outer box. And so at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and fill the gap between the two boxes with some packing peanuts. Okay, now I'm not going to seal this box yet because I haven't actually sold it to anybody yet. I am going to probably be putting this on eBay here shortly, but obviously I'll have to put a packing slip in there, you know, with the mailing address and all that kind of information in there. It's always a good idea to do that in case the outer label is, for whatever reason, you know, damaged from rain or just torn off or whatever. You want to make sure you have another, you know, set of the address inside. And so if a carrier does accidentally damage the outer label, they can look on the inside. They have another label on the inside they can scan and look at. And so this way that does increase the odds of your package getting to destination if there is some type of damage to the outer box. So I'll kind of just lightly tape it, and then once I actually sell it, I'll go ahead and put the packing slip in there and then, you know, seal the outer box and things will be good to go. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this packing project here. Again, I wanted to show everybody how I actually ship layouts, since in case anybody buys one, they'll know how it's done, and also to help you in case you're looking to ship something like this as well. Again, the main thing is, if you can, double box everything. If you can screw the layout to the inner box and then have that box inside of an outer box, which is surrounded by foam packing peanuts, that really prevents anything from shifting at all. And that you know, keeps everything really secure and safe, even in some pretty rough handling. So anyway, that's all, and thanks for watching. Bye.